Guys, Marsinger here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so today, Gohan might have stolen the show in terms of hype, but we did get the EZA for the LR, BUU and BABADI as well. So we're going to be showing them off here. They are full level 10 links, obviously rainbow. I've built them for mostly additional and then obviously a little bit of dodge as the secondary. They do have 9 crit as well. So kind of got a little bit of everything. They're a unit that can benefit from basically everything. So they have a Majin Buu Saga lead for 4 key and 150. Decent enough sub lead for things like Battlefield and stuff like that. And then their super attacks, we have the 12 key, raised attack and defense of 1 turn, colossal damage with a high chance to steal, seal, and high chance to stun. And then the 18 key is greatly raised attack and defense of 1 turn, mega colossal, and a high chance to seal and a high chance to stun. They get key 5, attack and defense 150%, additional attack and defense 50% when performing a super. They launch an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super. They have a high chance to dodge, so 50% chance to dodge. Additional 3 key, attack and defense 50%, and launch an additional super when the target enemy is in attack down status, defense down status, stunned or sealed. Then we get an additional 3 key, and all enemies attack and defense minus 20% for 4 turns after evading an attack. Recovers 10% HP at the end of turn in which an attack was received. So they start off here on their only 200% lead is the new Int Buu. They start off at 186k. So bear in mind we're going to get 50% from our actual passive, which puts us up to around 280, and then we get a 50% boost from the super attack as well. So we are looking at being at around what, 360, 370k defense, which isn't particularly crazy. I'm not going to put Super Buu in slot 1 because he has the possibility to just crit and absolutely destroy all of these guys straight away, which we don't really want. So we'll go ahead and do this. We'll get our full, almost full 24 key. We've got 23 key with BUU and BABADI here. So yeah, let's see how they get on. Buhan's got guard anyway, so yeah, he's fine in slot 1. Then he's going to get supers off and be perfectly fine defensively. So, I mean, this guy, from just seeing their kit initially, the BUU and BABADI, they seem like a solid enough free-to-play character. But the big thing is obviously the lack of defensive tech outside of dodge. Because in a lot of these tougher fights, you're not going to be able to apply all of these different status effects to enemies, which is giving them a decent buff as well as the chance to do an extra super attack. They do have the stat debuffing after they dodge as well. So 6 million is their first attack stat here. It's not crazy. I mean, they seal up Yamu here, which is good. We get the additional for 4.6 from the passive. That gives us another defense raise as well. So we are now over 400k defense here, which, I mean, for the most part, we could tank normals reasonably well. Getting a triple super does put us at like 450 plus as well. Because we sealed Yamu, we get that extra attack. How much will we take from this? Yeah, see, they still take 455k. That was after a triple super, and that's going to be the biggest problem. Is, yeah, they do have type advantage against Popovich, but he doesn't exactly hit crazy hard in terms of the toughest bosses in some of these hardest events, right? So a type neutral, much more difficult boss is still going to be hitting that hard, right? They're still going to be hitting these guys for a pretty significant amount of damage. Them not getting a dodge is super annoying as well, because obviously it doesn't allow us to get the extra debuff. But we'll go ahead and do this. I kind of actually want to float you off because you link really well with the BUU and BABADI. Their links on this team are also kind of an issue, right? Like, they link okay with a couple of the LRs because they have legendary power, but they don't link super well with other BUU units, which is kind of awkward. In fact, if I get their, let's get their link tool thing up here just to double check. Their best link partners, I think, is, yeah, LR BABADI is 6 links, and BABADI and Deborah is 6. But of course, on global, we don't have that EZA yet. Then for 5 links, we have the Int Deborah from the barbershop, who's not really usable. The AGL Demon God Deborah from Heroes, not really usable in these teams. Then we drop down to 4 links, and in terms of usable characters, again, like, we're not really looking at a huge gallery of good units here. That physical Deborah could still get an EZA, the Extreme Majin Buu Saga support unit. That would obviously be very, very useful. And then it's dropped down to 3 links, and that's where we have like LR Super BUU. In terms of the BUU team, that's kind of it in terms of the units you'd run on that team. Yeah, his link partner's really not looking so hot. And then it's only when we get down to like the 2 links that we have a bunch of other actual BUU characters. So kind of awkward in terms of the links. I mean, Evil BUU, they share 2. Only after he transforms. They share 0 links when the Evil BUU is Fat BUU in turn 1, which is kind of crazy. So let's go ahead and do this. The only good thing, of course, as well, this team has a ton of healing. So whilst we've lost a decent bit of HP so far, we are able to recover that reasonably well here. Wow, Evil BUU, whilst he's tanking all the attacks for double digits anyway, only 1 dodge. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, when it comes to my initial impressions of this guy, after having seen him for like 1 turn, is the fact that his attack stats are obviously very low for a unit that's not really providing anything to the team outside of damage, right? Because this unit isn't a support unit. So I know he's free to play, so we have to temper our expectations a little bit. But if a unit that I'm bringing on the team is only doing like a 6 million into a 4 million, on the kind of teams that we're running now and how crazy the BUU team can be, these are the kind of numbers I would expect from like a banner unit or something that is also providing support. Like if this guy had like 30% attack and defense to Margin Power, or well, I guess they're not on Margin Power, are they, because of BABADI, but if they had like 30% attack and defense for Extreme Margin BUU Saga, for example, then this unit would be much, much better and would probably be in a better spot for consideration for being run on this team. But, I mean, the thing is, without having the tech Evil BUU myself, I do need an extra slot, like, on the team. Like, I've been running Harudegarn on this team, and then I've been running, depending on the event, like STR Super BUU can be usable, Golden Freezer, depending on which event it is. So not having the tech BUU kind of sucks. So I was hoping that this guy would be good enough to be like the final slot choice on the team. But the problem is going to be that when it comes to any of the actual relatively hard-hitting bosses, you're going to need to be dodging. Otherwise, like normals, they'll be able to tank relatively okay. You know, if they're getting multiple supers in a turn, then we can get up to 450 to 500k defense, which means we're in the region of tanking all normals on global currently. But yeah, not having the LR, BABADI and Dabura is a shame because they link really well. I think they support as well, right? So having them together would be really useful. So global not having them is a bit of a shame because they'd make another good addition to this team as well. But yeah, I mean, for a free-to-play unit, they don't seem completely terrible. And whilst their defense isn't enough for them to handle big super attacks, at least they do have the 50% chance to dodge. So they do have some defense against it, but it's nothing particularly crazy. So now we have these two together, and this is where we have our 6 links active. So now we're at 250k start of turn, which is considerably better. So we can go ahead and do this. I guess we'll keep you guys together for now and then do this. The only problem is, of course, these two don't really work as a like set rotation because neither of them are really good in slot 1, right? So these guys getting 8 mil, that's with all the links active and the fact that BABADI is obviously a support unit. We get the stun, so that would mean if necessary we will get an extra super hit as well. So I mean, on this turn, linked up with BABADI and the LR BABADI, they're obviously going to look quite good. We also then get the hidden potential additional as well. So I think we probably are going to kill Yakon here. So on this turn, they look pretty good. But you got to remember, this is linked up with BABADI, LR BABADI, who if you are going to run him on this team normally, you're probably not running him in slot 1. So it's something that we're not going to see very often, right? Like if you're running the LR BUU and BABADI, this Prime Battle LR, chances are you're probably running them as a 3rd slot floater because they're like the final choice for the team. So they're not really a unit that gets to the benefit of a lot of support, right? Like if we're running this team in a more difficult event, chances are we're probably running like an int BUU on both rotations, and then we have tech exchange BUU, and then maybe like physical LR BUU, which means that at best the BUU and BABADI in slot 3 are going to have like 3 links active, which is, you know, we've seen examples of those turns. They're doing like 5 or 6 million attack. They're getting up to around 350 to 400k defense, depending on how many supers they do, which means, as I say, they are still in that sort of weird region where they're not even necessarily tanking all normals on global, which is a little bit awkward. The 50% chance to dodge could come in clutch. That's why I gave mine some extra dodge anyway. I could see the vision for just giving them full dodge if they are a unit that you are putting onto your team as that 6th and final choice because you don't have like the other options necessarily. Then I could see these guys being a choice for that like final slot on the team, but otherwise they're not really they don't really bring a huge amount to the table essentially, right? Like I said earlier, if they were giving support you'd have more of a reason to run them, but because they're not, any units that don't give support, unless they are a tank, then obviously their role on the team should be to do damage. And unfortunately, these guys just aren't really going to do either of those things, which is a little bit unfortunate. Let's get you attacked here, and then we'll go for... I mean, realistically, we should try and take out Deborah, but I do kind of want to see what will happen here. We've got the defense support from LR BABADI, well, the attack and defense support here. Fat BUU still taking some damage in slot 1, but then post super he's going to be okay, because Fat BUU is obviously hurt in this showcase scenario, is hurt by the fact that he's not getting a lot of links active because we're running the BUU and BABADI instead of running a good link partner for BUU. And that's the worst case scenario. You don't want to be running one of these units on your team where they are then hurting the performance of some of the better units on the team. And obviously if we were floating them in slot 3 rather than this sort of showcase setting, that wouldn't be as big of an issue because BUU would have his actual rotation partner, so it would be, you know, a lot better. But I mean, we could potentially, depending on how many supers we get here, we could actually just take out BABADI, but it all depends. We do get the additional from hidden potential because I think he can't have any status effects, so we're not getting that extra part of their passive active, which of course is another big thing to have to remember when it comes to these guys. See, I don't think, have they dodged at all, which is again a concern for like the harder events, but when you get to these harder bosses you can't put any status effects on them, so that's one big part of their passive, like that ability to do an extra attack, which it's not even necessarily the case of the fact that it does damage, but that extra attack is obviously then giving them the extra defense to be able to actually survive some of these attacks potentially. So yeah, I don't know how to feel about these guys. I don't think we're going to be able to get another turn here because we I'm pretty sure it's just going to be GG. I can't not 18 key super with Super BUU as well, so it's going to be GG for this turn, and then we'll get to see BUU and BABADI versus themselves in the final stage. So you let me know what you guys think down below. I guess when it comes to free-to-play units, like I already said, we have to temper our expectations a little bit. The free-to-play units are never going to be like, you know, oh wow, this guy's the best unit on the team, so if you're running BUU's team, you absolutely have to be bringing this guy. Like, free-to-play units are pretty much never in that sort of tier, but it's just a bit of a shame, like I say, that he doesn't really offer like a huge amount to the team. Because he doesn't provide support, he's not like a crazy good tank, like especially pre-super, his defense is very low. So like, he's not even tanking normals if you put him in slot 1, which means you would be relying on the dodge completely. So yeah, I don't think he provides enough to the team to really be worth running in any of the more tricky events. Things like Battlefield and stuff, he'll be useful for the leader skill and things like that, but yeah, it's going to be a bit awkward. I mean, if we look at this turn, we share no links with the BUU whatsoever. So that is definitely very awkward. Also, the key, like, doesn't help as well, right? So if we do this, we can then get a 12 key super. God, we can't even super with the other BUU now. I could have used the cookie beam. Actually, we might just die now. Is that going to save BUU and BABADI from this terrible turn?
Time to get
No,
serious.
it's not. Alright, well, I guess I don't need to hit the nodes here. I just want this to go through. And let's see. I mean, this is going to be them with no links active, which there's not going to be many occasions where this will be the case, because if you are running them on the BUU team, BUU most likely is going to be in slot 1 for the most part. So it's the unit in slot 2 that will hopefully be sharing a couple of links with BUU and BABADI. But that is something that you obviously are going to have to be aware of as well. Like the fact that the links for the rest of the team are not going to be particularly great. So no links active and only getting the 12 key super, 2.4 million. So it's pretty safe to say that, like, given that performance, like, this is not a unit that you'd be running. Yeah, 400k from a normal in that scenario. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Physical BUU and Babadi, I mean, decent for a free-to-play unit, but they don't offer enough to the team, I think, for them to really be worth running. So let me know what you guys think down below. It is a bit of a shame, but hopefully we get the BUU and Babadi EZA on global soon as well. Strange that it came out for J, but I guess it's because it's related to Battlefield and the progress of the Battlefields, but a little bit annoying. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of BUU and Babadi down below in the comment section. They could be useful for Super Battle Road, I guess, because of the sealing and stunning on Super and then getting those extra attacks. But Super Battle Road has become one of those stages now where, like, because it's not the hardest event anymore, and it is obviously category specific, most of the stages that you can run these guys on are already out, which is a bit of a shame as well. So I don't really know where they would see the most or the best use, but let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.